This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
It is Monday, August 25th, the beginning of the last real week of summer. What are you doing today? You got any plans? Going to work? Maybe you have the day off. Maybe you're playing golf, going to the beach. Well, a bunch of people in Baltimore, Maryland, about 200 people, got up early this morning. You know what they decided to do with their Monday? Go down to the immigration court and rally around a MS-13 gang member, a guy who has MS-13 tattooed on his fingers in symbols, a guy who is whose wife more than once called 911 to report that he's beating her, a guy who was caught on video by troopers in the state of Tennessee trafficking human beings, illegal aliens. That guy was in immigration court today, and ICE grabbed him, and they are going to deport him. And that has upset a number of liberals. This is their darling. This is Kilmar Abrego Garcia. They just can't quit him, and he just won't go away. So he makes an appearance, and then they grab him, and a couple of hundred people stood there and cheered for him and chanted and sang songs in Baltimore, Maryland for an MS-13 scumbag. This is an amazing thing, it really is, to watch this unfold. You got to wonder, couldn't you have found a better poster boy? Isn't there somebody else out there who ICE has grabbed that maybe, is actually working, raising a family, supporting his family, who just wants to live the American dream? This is who you choose as your darling, as your poster boy. This guy. It was crazy when they first embraced Kilmar Abrego Garcia months ago, when Senator Chris Van Hollen went all the way to El Salvador to have margaritas with him. And then we started learning about this guy. This is who we want out of our country. If you're a decent, law-abiding American, why would you want him in your community? I'm telling you, the Trump administration is not ever going to let him live here. They're going to deport him. Hopefully they deport him to Uganda, where he doesn't speak the language. His lawyer came out over the weekend and said it is cruel to send him to a country where he doesn't speak the language. Little flaw in that argument, counselor. He doesn't speak our language. He's been here for 10 years. He's, according to the Associated Press, a Maryland construction worker. Get that clip up here. This is just amazing. The entire mainstream media just will not give in, just will not give up. They can't give Trump the W. They can't concede that maybe this isn't the best case for them to hang their hats on. Here it is from the Associated Press this morning. Kilmar Abrego Garcia surrendered to U.S. immigration authorities in Baltimore Monday and faces possible efforts by the Trump administration to deport him to Uganda, an African country with documented human rights abuses and a language he doesn't speak. The Maryland construction worker became the face of President Trump's hardline immigration policies when he was wrongly deported in March to a notorious prison in his native El Salvador. He was returned to the U.S. in June, but only to face human smuggling charges that his lawyers called preposterous and vindictive. We saw him on video, pulled over, and the cop famously said on video, "He's moving humans." That's what he's doing. He's moving illegal aliens from Texas to Maryland. That's what he was doing. He was also beating up his wife on more than one occasion. He's also a documented member of MS-13, which is a terrorist organization. This is the worst of the worst. This is who Trump, Tom Holman, Pam Bondi promised to start with. Someone like this. And Democrats just can't let it go. I can't imagine in the back rooms and in D.C. that Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and the rest of the power brokers think this is a good idea. They're still going on TV. They're still making statements, holding press conferences saying this is cruel to deport an MS-13 terrorist to a country where he doesn't speak the language. Well, how hard did he work to assimilate while he was here? I know he was busy human trafficking and beating up his wife, but how hard do you have to try to live in this country for 10 years and not learn the language? He appeared outside the courthouse this morning, with his 200 fans screaming fanboys and fangirls to support him and demand he not be deported. And he showed he clearly can't speak a word of English. He brought a hefty translator up there to the podium with him and spoke to the crowd. Listen to the Maryland construction worker talk to his fans.
Sisters, brothers and sisters, my name is Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and I want you to remember this. Remember that I am free, and I was able to be reunited with my family.
Un milagro, gracias a Dios y gracias a toda la comunidad.
This was a miracle. Thank you to God, and thank you to the community power.
Y por eso quiero decirles las gracias a cada uno de ustedes que marcharon, levantaron sus voces y oraron y nunca dejaron de creer y luchar por mi libertad.
And this is why I want to thank each and every one of you who marched, lift your voices, never stopped praying, and continued to fight in my name.
Gracias a mi pareja de vida, mi esposa Jennifer, mi hermano César, mi madre Cecilia y toda mi familia.
Thank you to my life partner and wife, Jennifer, to my brother, Cesar, to my mother.
He can't even say thank you. He can't even say, I love my wife, the one he beat up a couple times. He can't say 2 words of English. And his lawyer, the guy standing right behind the rather large translator, that guy, he went before the cameras and said it's cruel to send him to Uganda because he can't speak whatever they speak there, Ugandan. But he could stay here where he's been for a decade and can't speak the language. This is such a losing issue for Democrats. I love it. The one regret I'll have when they deport him is we'll be done with him. We want to keep him in the news. They look like such fools. This is what we voted for. This is what 77 million people voted for, to get scum like this out of the country. A guy who belongs to a vicious El Salvadoran gang. And when we sent him to El Salvador, mistakenly, they demanded he be returned here. And he was returned from his home country to this country, which he entered illegally. And now they can't send him back to El Salvador, so they're going to send him to Africa. I love it. And the crowd cheers and chants, "Si se puede, si se puede." I had to look it up. It means, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, we can. We can deport him and be done with this guy once and for all.
Si se puede. Si se puede. Si se puede. Si se puede.
I've seen insane demonstrations. We'll get to DC, but this has to be the most insane. You say, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to go down there and support this guy is a gangbanging piece of garbage, but they don't want him to be deported, and we do. We win. This is just another example of the Democrats taking the wrong side of an 80-20, 90-10 issue. I mean, there's not a single elected Democrat who says, you know what? Maybe he's one of those guys we really should get out of our communities. None of them, because Trump's doing it. They have to oppose it. And that's what's happening in DC. I'm not sure the Trump administration planned this, thought this through, but God, is it brilliant what they've done to DC. And Trump made the case the other day. He said, this should be a crown jewel. Our capital should be spotless. Not only are they going to arrest criminals, what an original concept, but they're going to clean the place up. He says the graffiti will be gone. They'll be doing landscaping, painting, making our capital beautiful again. Who could be against that? And the Democrats will come out and say it cost millions. Well, we spend millions and millions on all kinds of ridiculous things. You don't think cleaning up our capital is a good idea, you stick with that. You go with that, Hakeem. You go with that, Liz. Oppose the man who wants to make D.C. safe. And he's doing it. So far, it's been amazing. Here's your update from Pam Bondi. 1,007 arrests in 11 days, 111 guns taken off the streets. That's incredible. That's 11 days. And the big number, 0. 11 days, 0 murders in the Capitol. And there were protests over the weekend. Of course, there were protests, mostly, old, white, disheveled liberals who literally are out there defending crime. I think I have their argument straight, that they don't want the National Guard. They don't want federal forces in our capital, cleaning it up, arresting criminals, stopping murder. So that's where you are right now. If you're a Democrat, you are out there defending murder. Do I have that right? I believe I do. You want murder. Do we have the protest over the weekend?
Gerry, it's pretty bigoted of you not supporting murder, I have to say.
Are there other, can you tell me, do you see any minorities in this group? There
never are. It's always just
never. You know what? You know why? Because the minorities like this. They want safety. They want peace. They don't want murder. They're against murder. These people are out there rallying in support of murder. Watch this.
We are the litmus test, and how we respond in this moment will determine how this federal takeover will play out in other cities. Why has Bowser allowed DC to be a playground for white gentrifiers and developers at the expense of the native population?
So we say, DK, you say, fight back.
There's a black guy.
Fight back. DK, fight back. DK, fight back. DK, fight back. DK, fight back. DK.
These people are just pathetic. Again, it's a nice summer weekend, and they say, let's go to D.C. and protest for crime against federal troops, which have made the city safe for 11 days. It's going to continue for another 19 days, and then hopefully after that. But the big story here is, before we move on, I got to get to this because I haven't heard from Tom Homan. Get to Tom Homan because Homan makes it clear that Abrego Garcia is going. He is out. They'll lose their minds when he gets deported, but he's going to be deported. He's an illegal alien with a deportation order. All the rest, the wife beating, the human trafficking, the gang symbols, that's irrelevant. I mean, he's an illegal alien with a deportation order. That means the ICE will deport him. Here's Holman talking about it, making it clear, Democrats, you're going to get heartbroken. Your guy, your darling, your friend, the Maryland construction worker is on his way out.
He is absolutely going to be deported from this country. He's not going to walk the streets of the station. So he can enjoy the little time he has with his family. And for the person that says we're not going to separate family, well, his family can go with him because he's leaving. He's going to be deported. Look, he's a criminal alien. He's a member of MS-13, which is now a designated terrorist. He's a white beater. He's a human trafficker. He's been indicted for human trafficking and alien smuggling. He's a bad person. He's not going to be here. He's been order removed twice. Order removed by 2 different federal judges. He's going to leave this country in the very near future, and his family can go with him. I can't see who was talking before the sound bites, but whoever said we're taking advantage of broken immigration system, what do they do? What do those people do the last 4 years about this broken immigration system? They let 10.5 million people cross that border. Sex trafficking women and children, all-time high. Overdose deaths of fentanyl, all-time high. Number of terrorists, all-time high. They didn't do anything to fix it. President Trump is keeping his promise to American people to enforce the law, and that's what we're doing. We'll make this country safer every day by removing people like Abrego Garcia.
Hey, just to follow up.
That's a 1-minute clip. It just sums it all up. Fentanyl, all-time high. Terrorism, all-time high. Trafficking, all-time high. And they're fixing it. And hundreds of Angry white liberals are in the streets demanding they stop. Just incredible. Which brings us to the next step in Trump's effort to, this is going to be great. The next step in this administration's effort to clean up our cities. When you see how well it has worked in DC, the obvious question is, where do you go next? Obviously, Baltimore, Chicago, Memphis, there's a real crime problem, a murder problem. Here's your numbers so far. 254 murders in Chicago. Over the weekend, a 5-year-old kid was killed with a gun. It's a war zone. Let's be honest. Democrats don't want to talk about it. Black Lives Matter. They don't go into Chicago and walk the streets. Trump is going to Chicago. That is next. And Democrats are encouraging people. The mayor of Chicago, that incompetent fool, Brandon Johnson, is encouraging people to rise up against this administration's effort to stop kids, 5-year-olds, from getting murdered in our third biggest city. Just remarkable. But he's going to do it because it's worked so well in DC and because most decent people want this. They love this. The idea, I mean, we asked the same question in Chicago as we did in DC. We don't have to live this way. Why do we accept it as just a fact of life in big cities that kids are going to get murdered? Why can't the federal government, why shouldn't the federal government do something to stop this madness? Well, they're going to kick and scream, and it's going to be wild because they're going to stop murders. I mean, maybe not all murders, but they're going to go in there and they're going to arrest bad guys. They're going to arrest gangbangers and killers and take guns off the street. And the mayor is encouraging people to rise up against them. Listen to this fool.
And so, look, we're going to remain firm. We'll take legal action. But the people in this city are accustomed to rising up against tyranny. And if that's necessary, I believe that the people of Chicago will stand firm alongside of me as I work every single day to protect the people of this city.
Rise up against tyranny. What about murder? What about kids dying? I do this many Mondays. Just log on to any of the Chicago media outlets, and they list the murders over the weekend. 2 weeks ago on a weekend, 34 murders. Black people are 20 times more likely than white people to be murdered in Chicago. Last year, 573 murders, which the media said, whoa, murder is down significantly. 2023, 617 murders. It's just like, accept it. Yeah, kids are going to shoot each other. Almost all the victims are Black. Most of them are teenagers, young Black people killing each other. And the mayor doesn't want to stop it. Democrats don't want to. The governor, J.B. Bat Ribs Pritzker, doesn't want to stop it. This is another issue where Trump is on the right side. He's on the common sense side, and they are not. Here's your headline from The Guardian. Illinois Democrats slam Trump's illegal plans to send the National Guard to Chicago. Well, you know what you should do, media? You should go into the neighborhoods. You should find the elderly Black woman who can't leave her house. You should find the mother who lost a child to gang violence and say, do you think the cops in Chicago need some help? Do you think that would be a month? Came in there for a month and just arrested people and took guns off the street. Pritzker's holding a press conference today, and he's going to blast Trump and call this tyranny and authoritarianism, and I encourage that. Go for it, JB. You run with that, because this should happen in every one of these. He should be in Baltimore. The governor of Baltimore challenged Trump to walk the streets with him. Trump should do that. I mean, I assume Secret Service will be all over it, but walk the streets, talk to people. How about that? Ask them if they want a safer city, because Democrats don't. They don't want help. They don't want to save kids. They don't want to take guns off the street, drugs off the street. It's incredible. The Guardian reports that Pentagon sources confirmed that planning is actively underway for the operation, though no final decision has been announced. Pentagon officials said ahead of the weekend that up to 1,700 National Guard are prepared to mobilize across 19 predominantly Republican states from August to mid-October to support ICE operations. Brandon Johnson said targeting of Chicago was, quote, the most flagrant violation of our Constitution in the 20th century. 21st century, I'm sorry, and promised court battles if troops arrive. He said that his office has no direct communication with the White House. Of course they don't. Give me Trump's tweet this morning, because they're doing it, and they're going to do it just like they did in D.C. It's going to work, and it's going to drive Democrats insane. Here's Trump this morning. He posts, the incompetent mayor of Chicago just stated that in D.C., where crime has been brought down to almost nothing, there have been no murders in 9 days, something which hasn't happened in years, and people are safe again. Only 9 people have been arrested. I don't know when that's from. That is wrong. Oh, Johnson said that is wrong. Hundreds of criminals have been held, captured, arrested, and their guns have been taken away. D.C. is safe and booming. Good. I don't know why this wasn't a bigger issue in the campaign. It's such a smart move, and it should expand, even if it's just for a month or 2 months or 3 months. Go to Chicago, go to Baltimore, go to Jackson, Mississippi, which has the highest murder rate in the country. And Democrats like Gavin Newsom will say, those are red states. Oh, sure, Gavin. Yeah, you run with that. Those are blue cities run by Democrats forever. Detroit, Memphis, you name it. Blue cities, Democrat mayors, Democrat policies like cashless bail, which is going to end today. Apparently, Trump is preparing to sign an executive order today, ending cashless bail, the dumbest policy that Democrats have ever advanced, to just let guys walk. That apparently is going to come to an end. J.D. Vance, of course, went on the shows over the weekend because he's fearless. I used to think this was a bad move to go on there with Kristen Welker and Margaret Brennan, but he's so good at it. And he just seems more presidential every week. Here's J.D. talking to Welker about the Trump plan to make cities safe.
We don't have to live like this. My message to my fellow citizens here in DC or all across the country would be that allowing vagrants and armed robberies to take over your city, that's a policy choice. What President Trump is showing is that if you just empower local law enforcement to arrest and prosecute the bad guys, we can take back American streets. You, as a young family, whatever the color of your skin, you should not have to cross the street because there's a crazy person yelling at your children on the other side. You should not be worried that if you take your son out for a meal at 8 o'clock in the evening, an armed robber is going to assault your family. This is a policy choice to allow lawlessness to overrun our cities. The president has made a different policy choice. And I think what he's showing the entire American community is that we don't have to live like this. And that's the biggest thing that will come out of DC. It matters a lot for DC, but I think it matters more for the whole country to see that if we just make better choices, we can take back our cities.
That's it right there. We don't have to live like this. That's a preview of a presidential debate. J.D. Vance against Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom, whose state is a disaster, homelessness, unemployment, crime, just keep hammering away. You don't have to live like that. Look what Trump has done in D.C. Look what he's going to do in Chicago. We look forward to that for sure. It is incredible when you just do that. Recommend you do that. Go to Google it, Chicago murders. And the Chicago Tribune, the Sun-Times, the local stations, they just list of the weekend. Like I said, 2 weekends ago, 34 dead. And like hundreds shot, one after another, 16, 18, 17, 14. Why do we accept it? Makes no sense. Here's Trump.
To do, we have to. And after we do this, we'll go to another location and we'll make it safe also. We're going to make our country very safe. We're going to make our cities very, very safe. Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent. And we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this. And it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one, but they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. Please. I did great with the black vote, as you know, and they want something to happen. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York, and we're going to help with. And I think a lot of these people that you see on television, they're including the people in this audience. They'll say bad things about me, and then they'll say, "Thank God he's here," because half of them got mugged.
Oh, it's true. Oh, you got to get that woman. I forgot to send this to you, Ironhead. The woman who went viral over the weekend from Chicago. See if you can find this. She got carjacked and they broke her arm and stole her car. And she says, I still don't want Trump to send troops into Chicago. It is like the woke mind virus in one brief video saying, don't help us. Don't save us. They broke my arm and stole my car, but Trump's bad. And Trump's doing it. They have to oppose it. It's so amazing to watch this all unfold. All right. Speaking of which, we got to get to this truck driver, Hardinger Singh, the illegal alien from India who killed 3 innocent Americans because he can't read road signs. Well, he did it in the wrong place. He did it in Florida, and he is going away for a long time. But there is a movement to free him, which is just absolute madness. And we got to get to the most humiliating video, the most humiliating campaign stunt of all time. This is worse than Dukakis in the tank. This is worse than Tim Walz trying to load a shotgun. We got to get to Kami Mandami, but here she is. This is incredible. Jill Simonello. Dear Donald Trump, I've been carjacked in Chicago with my arm broken. I still don't want you or your troops here. By the way, there are no red hats. That's not true. There's a whole group that's devoted to flipping Chicago red. It's not going to succeed. But there she is with a broken arm, showing you her broken arm. They carjacked her, and she doesn't want the feds to help. That is a sickness right there. All right, we'll get to Kami Mandami and much more, but first.
Excuse me.
All right, have you tried Callahan coffee yet? Well, you should. It's really good stuff. Our first branded product. This is a premium dark roast blend roasted fresh to order in Waltham, Mass. The Callahan coffee blend combines beans from 3 continents to create a unique natural coffee flavor, rich with chocolate and sweet with caramel taste notes, creating a full-bodied dark roast with low acidity. People keep telling us they love it. They keep ordering more. You got to try it. Callahan Coffee is a great way to directly support this show. So order it now at CallahanCoffee.com. That's CallahanCoffee.com. You know about Harjinder Singh by now. He's the illegal alien truck driver who can't speak English, who can't read English. They gave him an English test. And he got 3 out of 16 questions right. They showed him road signs. He got 1 out of 5 correct. He didn't belong on our roads, but Gavin Newsom gave him a CDL, and 3 Americans are dead. Here he is being extradited back to Florida. That's the new attorney general, or the new escorting him by the arm back to Florida, where he would do hard time. Thankfully, I shouldn't say thankfully, he did his mistake doing it in Florida. If he did it in California, he'd probably be free, or Massachusetts. He'd probably be back in his taxpayer-funded hotel room by now. But it ain't happening in Florida. They just announced they will be arresting illegal alien truck drivers. They're going to turn their way stations into detainment stations for illegal aliens. They're going to pull over truck drivers and see if they can speak English. Their licenses, according to the Florida AG, are no good in Florida. So they're going to go there. They're going to get arrested. They're going to be taken off the roads, and lives will be saved. This is, again, utter madness that we let a guy like this drive an 18-wheeler, a guy who can't read the road signs. He needed a translator in court. He can't speak our language, and yet he's out there putting everyone's lives in danger. But the story gets even more insane. This is from The Independent. More than 2.5 million people have signed a petition urging Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to show leniency towards Singh, the truck driver accused of causing a crash that killed 3 people. The petition posted on change.org calls for both DeSantis and the Florida Board of Executive Clemency to re-examine the case against Singh, arguing he did not have any criminal intent intent, or history. They want him freed. He killed 3 innocent Americans. I understand Democrats don't like to talk about that. They don't like to say their names. They don't like to admit when a man who shouldn't be here kills Americans, but they want him freed. I don't think it's going to work. It's hard to believe. 2.5 million people signed a petition to free a man who just killed 3 people on the road because he can't read, doesn't respect our laws or our traffic laws. Truly amazing, but I don't think it's going to work. But good for Florida. Good for Florida. They're leading the way as always, making at least their streets safe. I don't know about our streets and blue cities, but their streets will be safe. All right, let's get to it. The single most embarrassing moment in the history of political campaigns. Yes, again, John Kerry put on some spacesuit and crawled through something one time. It was humiliating. Remember Dukakis, Tim Walz? I mean, anything Kamala Harris did, going into a store, going to a Wawa for Doritos was humiliating. This tops them all. This was over the weekend. It was at an event called Men's Day in Brooklyn. Men's Day, to celebrate men. And this sorry excuse for a man, Zoran Mamdani, the commie Mamdani, was encouraged by the crowd that gathered for this event to bench press. Now, they weren't asking him to throw up, 300 pounds or even his body weight. There were 2 plates on the bar, that is 135. And for some reason, he agreed to give it a go. He had to know that he had no chance at this, but he's feeling it right now. He's feeling kind of empowered. And so he got down and gave it a shot. And watch this. I'm going to guess, if I had to estimate, that Mamdani lifted about 20 pounds. The rest, the other 115, was lifted by the spotter. Go ahead.
This is how you move up in the pole. This is how you move up in the pole. Yeah. This is how you move up in the poles. Yeah.
2 spotters.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Let me get one more. Let me get 3.
Yeah, they all cheer. You could see the arms on the spotter who's jacked, and he is lifting the entire weight. So this scrawny, now he's called Mom Scrawny. Eric Adams, his rival, who's way behind in the polls, posted a video of himself benching like 2-something, and he put 64 versus 33. This guy's 33 years old, appears to be reasonably fit, and can't bench 30 pounds, and thought he could get away with it. The crowd is cheering. I don't know who told him to do that or encouraged him. Said, yeah, it's a good idea, but this was humiliating. It went viral. There's pictures of the spotter's arms just bulging because he's lifting the entire weight of this little scrawny commie, or should I say Mr. Mayor, because he's the next mayor of New York. And I've come around, Ironhead. I'm now looking forward to this. He's going to win. I'm accepting it. He made an announcement over the weekend that they're let me find it. They're no longer going to enforce misdemeanor charges. There's Eric Adams. Oh, he's only got 135. Why does he have a spotter at all? I can do that. I don't remember the last time I had a spotter.
Look at the difference in the spotters, though.
I know. Yeah, he's got just his fingers on it. Eric, tell the spotter to step back. How many reps? He did a bunch of reps. He is pretty jacked, Eric Adams. He's a weirdo. He's a vegan. And he's a health nut. And he initially posted 67 over 33. He got his own age wrong. He had to correct it to 64. That guy's 64. Just did like 8 reps. The 30-year-old couldn't do 1. But he announced over the weekend, this is so perfect. This is going to lead to utter chaos. New York City is going to become San Francisco just on a whole different scale. He said they're going to end all misdemeanor charges. That's like shoplifting. ending misdemeanor charges. This is the exact opposite of what you should do. It's like in Washington, D.C. over the weekend, Peter Baker, who's this Trump-hating hack from the New York Times, he was upset because ICE arrested a guy, an illegal alien, with an open container. He had a beer, and he got out of his car and kicked the ICE officer. And Baker thought that was overreach to arrest that guy. Those are the guys you arrest. Again, it's the broken windows theory. You arrest people for breaking windows, then everything else kind of falls into place. Mamdani's going to do the exact opposite. He's going to stop arresting people who break windows or shoplift or ride their stolen dirt bikes down Fifth Avenue. They're not going to arrest those people. That is going to be madness, and that's going to happen he's going to get elected in November and take office in January, I assume, and then New York is just going to descend into chaos, and that's what all the white liberals voted for, and they'll be getting mugged, and they'll say, we don't care. We love socialism. We love the commie. It's going to be, as expected, an absolute disaster. And you know what? I'm going to stay out of New York City, and I'm going to sit back and enjoy it. All right. What else happened over the weekend? Oh, that's right. John Bolton's house and his office got raided on Friday. And I saw a few people, well-connected reporters like Julie Kelly and Sean Davis from the Federalist, pointing out, just wait to find out what they found, what they charge him with. But the media does not want to wait. They don't want to. They want to say, Trump is weaponizing the federal government. Trump is going after retribution and revenge. I don't care what you call it, but this is what we knew was going to happen. This is what we said was going to happen. If Trump returns to the White House, he is going to go after the people who went after him, because we know that was indeed weaponized. They didn't have anything legitimate. We know Letitia James and Alvin Bragg and Fannie Willis and Jack Smith. We know those were all made up. We know there was no predicate for the Mar-a-Lago raid. We know the rape charge from E. Jean Carroll was utter nonsense, just made up, and the media cheered. This is different. This is going after real criminals. John Bolton, you'll find out, I predict right now, you'll find out, committed serious crimes. But the media is circling the wagons around these people. They're going to lose their minds when they arrest Brennan and Clapper and Comey, but that's coming. Here's Chuck Todd tweeting over the weekend. Again, this guy is such a fraud. He was on TV for, 20 years, pretending to be, a newsman. Now he gets fired, starts his own podcast or whatever, Substack, and shows his true colors, just like Jim Acosta and Joy Reid and the rest of them. They're just insane Trump haters. And this is just so perfect. He writes, the virus killing democracy right now is this two wrongs make a right mindset, revenge over principles. All right, Chuck, I got a question for you. Answer me this, Chucky. When did you ever say it was wrong for them to raid Mar-a-Lago? When did you ever say it was wrong for them to change the law in New York City so E. Jean Carroll could go forward with a ridiculous rape accusation? When did you say it was wrong for Letitia James to make up a case in New York about Trump overvaluing his properties? When did you say it was wrong for Alvin Bragg to come up with this novel charge of hush money and try to put him in prison for the rest of his life? You didn't say that was wrong. Now you say this is wrong, and you don't even know what the charges are. You haven't seen it. You don't know what they found at Bolton's house, Bolton's office. You don't know if Bolton was selling classified. You don't know, but you think it's wrong because Trump is doing it. That's where we're at right now. And the good news is Trump, we hope, is going to follow through with this in all these cases. We know what they did. It came out over the weekend that the FBI refused to prosecute Hillary Clinton, refused to prosecute Comey, who leaked classified information. There are whistleblowers who point out that the FBI was totally corrupted under Joe Biden. And Chuck Todd never said, that was wrong. But this is wrong. They hated John Bolton for years. Now they love him. Now you have that George Conway lunatic running around the front of Bolton's house with his camera screaming about tyranny and fascism and the end of democracy when they didn't say a word. You know what yesterday was the anniversary of? Yesterday, August 24th? The mugshot. When Fannie Willis took Trump's mugshot, and it probably is, the greatest backfire of all time. That mugshot certainly helped Trump return to the White House. But Chucky didn't say that was wrong. No, Chucky didn't say taking the president's mugshot in this silly made-up case by this corrupt prosecutor who should be she should be on the list. She admitted in court she used campaign funds for her own private trips with her boyfriend. She should be on the list. And then what's Chuck going to say? That's wrong. We're wrong. We shouldn't do this. It's the end of democracy. Just wait. These people are going to look like fools. I'll predict right now that when we get all the details of John Bolton's crime, there he is, the mugshot. Talk about that is the single greatest backfire of all time. Trump took a great mugshot, so good, in fact, that he hung it in the White House, and it didn't work out the way they were hoping. They all the Democrats, all the Democrats in Congress and Senate, all the media, all the Chuck Todds and Kristen Welkers and Margaret, they all thought that they would succeed in putting him away and keeping him from running again. I don't think we quite appreciate what a backfire it was. All right. What else we got? I know we have some time here.
Ed Markey.
Oh yeah, throw him. We could do this every day. Ed Markey is such an embarrassment. It's not easy to be a Massachusetts senator and be the biggest embarrassment in D.C. when you have Liz Warren to compete with. But this guy is just such a humiliating presence in D.C. When they talked about, when the news came that the military, that the National Guard was heading to Chicago, Markey writes, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Trump is trying to militarize our cities, all to distract from his sinking poll numbers. It's what dictators do. No one should be silent in the face of this administration's authoritarian actions. Again, this guy doesn't give a damn about innocent Americans dying, kids dying. Didn't say a word when Eric Tarpinian Jackham, the intern from Massachusetts, an intern in D.C., was shot in the head and killed at the end of June because he went out for McDonald's at 10 o'clock at night. Not a word from his senator, Ed Markey, or Liz Warren, or anyone, Maura Healey, have said nothing about that because he worked for a Republican. And they want you to think D.C. is safe. Not a word about dead kids in Chicago or frightened grandmothers in D.C. who are afraid to go out of their houses. No, it's authoritarian. And it's a distraction from his sinking poll numbers. They're not sinking. And even if they were, so what? There's no election coming up. What is it? Trump is doing this because he asks the question over and over. Why do we live like this? Why do we allow this in our cities? And clowns like Mr. Frosty here, Ed Markey, whose last real job was driving an ice cream truck, who's been in D.C. for 50 years, who's almost 80. He wants you to think it's authoritarian. He's a dictator. He just makes me sick, and I'm glad he gets called out on this. Every time I tweet about him, people they just despise this man. He's just a pathetic, stupid old man screaming about fascism in D.C. Sure it is. How about those kids who aren't going to die? How about that old lady who can now walk down the street? Does she matter to you, Eddie? I don't think so. But, all right. What else we got, Aaron? I'm trying to get my...
Has there been any developments since the Alaska and D.C. meetings with Ukraine?
No, not really. The war goes on. But, hey, it's up to them now. That's all I could say. It's up to them. It's up to Zelensky. Russia says he's not legitimate, but just wait. Today's going to be a good day. We're going to end cash bail. We're going to protect the American flag, and we're going to finalize those plans to go into Chicago and make the city safe again. Good plan. Let's save lives and let the Democrats kick and scream about their hero, their friend, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. But that will do it for today, Monday, August 25th. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, my God. Is she crazy?
Thank you. Thank you
Wow.
all. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.